Hey, Richard Hansen here from Hunter Auctions. Today I'm going to talk about a pick I have for the upcoming auction on the 31st of October. The reason I want to talk about this is called a swage block, and everyone in the blacksmithing world or people who want to get into the blacksmithing, they all talk about anvils, and of course anvils are very important. I don't want to take away the importance of an anvil, but the swage blocks kind of get left behind, and I think they are probably one of the most versatile tools that you can have in any blacksmith shop. Not only that are they extremely versatile, they are very, very rare to find. They're very, very difficult to find rather. I was in the blacksmithing game for 32 years, and I can tell you right now, they're hard to find. A lot more difficult than a good anvil. So don't ever underestimate the swage block. I'll just give you a little bit of an idea of what a swage actually is. So I've just made up this replica of a swage that you would use in an anvil. So you can see the swage is used to make a convex shape. So what you would do, you would put your steel in there, say a full round piece of steel, and you could forge it down and create a half round. Alternatively, you could put a square piece of steel, come over the top with a top swage, and then you could form round steel out of that. So that's very versatile, but that's only one. And if we go down to the anvil, I'll show you how that works. So you have the hardy hole in there. You put your swage in the hardy hole, and then you form your steel through the swage like so. The biggest issue with that is you've only got one, and as you see on the anvil, you've only got a certain size to take that post. So that post there is about an inch. I'd say that's an inch hardy hole. And of course that will only take a post that's an inch. So that's one thing. On this swage block though, you have got the equivalent of 19 of these. So the way they work, if I just give you a demonstration, here's a little tip for you. If you want to know how steel works, or you want to know how to make a certain object, get some plasticine. So literally you could just put this in any one of these swages, and you can just push it down. Obviously I'm replicating what you do with a hammer and steel, and you just work that down. It's a little bit over the edge. I'm just going to work it back down this way. And I'm literally blacksmithing here. And you would form your half round like so. Just use my fingers down there, push it along, and as you can see, there's my half round. So as you can see here, you've got several different sizes of half round. You've got some tapered hardies, you've got some larger half rounds, you've got some V's in here, all sorts of things going on here, but 19 of single swages. The other thing is that what people don't realize is, I mentioned on the anvil you've got one post that's about an inch. The trouble is, as you go round, if you're new into blacksmithing, or even if you're an existing blacksmith, you'll find certain types of swages. You might find them at other auctions or around the place, and the posts are all a different size because they're made for a certain size anvil. So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different size hardy holes that you could use your existing hardies in depending on the size of the post. So all you need to do, and I just got to be careful here. So all you need to do is lay that down. All you need to do is lay that down, and then you would put your hardy in like so in one of those posts. So you have all sorts of options there as well. Now, a lot of people ask me what happens with the round ones. Well, there's a couple of things. Again, you can do all sorts of things, but I want you to imagine if you're making some rings, for example, and I'll just use this medium one here. So you're going to have a piece of steel that fits inside this hole here, this hardy hole here, for example, and of course that steel would be sticking up a bit further, like so in the ring. And then you can literally wrap your rings around that steel that has fit inside that hardy hole, nice and snug. Another thing you can do with the anvil, with the swage, or with the round holes in the swage, is if you were making your own swage block, or I should say the square holes, you could forge in your post. So what you would do is you would forge a post in roughly like that, put that down inside this hardy, and then you can start working your steel down this way, and hence put a hole in there. Again, this is replicating what you do with an anvil and some very basic tools, and presto, you've just made your own hardy tool if you want to, or a bottom swage rather, if you want to make a specific swage that this swage block can't accompany. I think I've just about got everything. Or another thing you can do is, if you're making, for example, a small spoon, or you want to make something a little bit convex or concave or convex, doesn't matter which. So you would have a forge out a flat piece of steel, or you could even use a small piece of sheet, and you can just come in here with your hammer, and in this case you'd use a ball peen hammer, and you could just work that down into the hole like so, and you can imagine all sorts of applications for that. So you could even make spoons, anything like that, fire spoons, blacksmithing spoons, even a kitchen spoon if you wanted. So you've got so many applications. Don't overlook it, Swage Block. If you're into blacksmithing, grab this, because I can guarantee you'll find it very, very difficult to get another one. This one is lot 198 in the catalogue. Just one more thing before I go. If you're going to set these up, I still would recommend you set these up on a decent block of timber. If you want to make a stand for it, I've seen them set up with clamps, so some people clamp them. You could even cut a little slot so you could slide it into the slot, but definitely use a good solid stand for not only your anvils but your swage blocks as well. That's my pick, 198. Get on that one, don't underestimate the value of it.